Dahyun was under the main cooling system when the alarms started screaming. He pulled himself out from the tight space, wiping grease from his hands. The red lights flashing on the walls told him something bad was happening. Very bad. He ran toward the command center. His boots made loud sounds on the metal floor. Around him, other workers were moving fast, their faces showing worry. Frontier Station Gamma 7 was a small place. Only 43 humans worked here on the edge of space where almost nobody ever came. Commander Minjae was standing in front of the big screens when Dahyun arrived. Her gray hair was tied back tight. Her face looked calm, but her hands were moving quickly over the controls. What happened? Dahyun asked. Valkyrie ship. Engine failure. They're coming in hot. Minjae pointed at the screen. A large silver ship was moving toward the station, smoking and spinning slowly. They have 20 people on board, diplomats, and they're not happy about needing our help. Dahyun understood. The Valkyrie were one of the powerful alien races. They had technology that humans could only dream about. They flew through space with wings made of crystal and light. They lived for 300 years. They thought humans were simple creatures, not much better than animals who used tools. And now they needed help from humans. They would hate that. The ship hit the docking bay hard. The whole station shook. Dahyun heard metal screaming as the ship scraped against the walls. Smoke filled the bay. People were shouting. Get medical ready, Minjae said. Dahyun, check the bay doors. Make sure they seal. Dahyun ran to the bay. The doors had sealed, but barely. He could see the Valkyrie ship through the window. It was beautiful even while broken. Silver metal curved like bird wings. Blue lights pulsed weakly along its sides. Smoke poured from a huge hole in its back. The Valkyrie started coming out. They were tall, taller than humans. Their skin was pale blue and seemed to shine slightly. Each one had wings folded against their backs. The wings looked like they were made of glass and starlight mixed together. Even scared and hurt, they looked proud. One of them, wearing long robes with gold marks, walked to Commander Minjae. He spoke in Universal Standard, the language most space travelers used. I am Ambassador Kren. Our ship is damaged. We need repairs. We will pay, Minjae nodded. We'll help however we can. Do you have injured? Ambassador Kren looked uncomfortable. Our medical team is trapped in the ship. The door will not open. We have some minor injuries. Nothing serious. That was when Dahyun heard it. A small sound, like someone crying but trying to be quiet about it. It came from the maintenance corridor, the narrow hallway that ran behind the main bay. He moved toward the sound. The corridor was dark and filled with smoke. He turned on his light and stopped. A young Valkyrie was on the floor, a child. She was small, maybe 12 years old if Valkyrie aged like humans. But her wings were wrong. Very wrong. A large piece of metal had fallen on them. The beautiful crystal structures were crushed, broken. Some pieces were just powder now. Blue liquid, probably blood, pooled around her. The child looked up at him. Her eyes were huge and golden. Tears ran down her blue face. She tried to move her wings and cried out in pain. Help, she whispered in Universal Standard. Her voice was so quiet. Please. It hurts. Dahyun dropped to his knees beside her. I'm here. I'm going to help you. He pressed the button on his communicator. Commander, we have a serious injury. Child, crushed wings. I need medical now. Within minutes, the corridor was full of people. Ambassador Kren pushed through, his face going pale when he saw the child. Behind him came an old Valkyrie woman wearing robes covered in silver symbols. Her face was hard and cold. Kira! The old woman moved fast, kneeling beside the child. My granddaughter. Yeri, the station's medical officer, arrived with her equipment. She was young, only 28, with kind eyes and gentle hands. She looked at the wings and her face went white. I don't know Valkyrie medicine, Yeri said quietly. I've never seen anything like this. The old woman, who Kren introduced as High Matron Thelvara, looked at the humans with cold eyes. Of course you cannot help. You are human. You know nothing of advanced biology. We must get her to our medical bay. The medical bay is sealed, Ambassador Kren said softly. The door is damaged. It will take 6 hours to cut through. Then we will wait 6 hours. High Matron Kren said, and his voice was sad. The wing structures are dying. You can see the light fading from the crystals. In 6 hours, he did not finish. He did not need to. Everyone understood. In 6 hours, Kira would lose her wings forever. For a Valkyrie, that was worse than death. Their wings were part of who they were. A Valkyrie without wings was broken, empty. Dahyun was looking at the wings carefully. He had fixed many things in his life: engines, computers, life support systems, things that mixed technology and biology. He could see patterns in the broken wings, the way the crystal connected to the flesh, the way tiny lights pulsed through the structure like circuit boards made of living glass. It reminded him of things he had fixed before. Different things, but the ideas were the same. I might be able to help, Daehyun said. Everyone looked at him. The High Matron's eyes were full of anger. You, a human, you think you can repair Velkari biology? We have studied these systems for thousands of years. Our medical science is beyond anything your primitive species understands. Maybe, Daehyun said. He kept his voice calm. But in 6 hours those wings will be dead. I'm here now. Let me try. No. I will not let a human touch my granddaughter with your crude tools and ignorant grandmother. Kira's voice was weak but clear. It hurts so much, please. The High Matron looked at her granddaughter. For a moment her hard face softened, then it went cold again. If you make it worse, if you cause her more pain, I will hold you responsible. Do you understand, human? I understand, Daehyun said. He looked down at Kira. She was looking back at him with those huge golden eyes. So much fear in them, so much pain, but also hope. Can you fix my broken wings? She asked. Daehyun took a breath. He did not know if he could do this. The wings were so complex, so different from anything he had worked with, but he knew he had to try. He could not let this child suffer if there was even a small chance. Yes, he said. I'll fix them. I promise. And as Hyeri helped him carefully lift Kira onto a stretcher, as they moved toward the medical bay, Daehyun hoped with everything he had that he could keep that promise. The medical bay was small. 3 beds, some basic equipment, and walls painted white that had turned yellow over the years. It was not meant for something like this. Daehyun knew that. Everyone knew that. They laid Kira on the center bed very carefully. She made small sounds of pain with every movement. The blue blood had soaked through the temporary bandages Hyeri had put on. High Matron Thelvara stood in the corner like a statue made of ice. Her hands were folded in front of her. Her face showed nothing, but Daehyun could see her hands shaking slightly. She was afraid. She was just hiding it well. Ambassador Kryn brought a datapad. These are the Velkari medical files. Everything we know about wing structure. I hope it helps. Daehyun took the pad. The symbols and diagrams were in Velkari language at first, but the pad had a translation function. Slowly the information changed to Universal Standard. He started reading. The wings were not simple. They were part living tissue, part crystal that grew like bone, part something else that seemed like technology but was natural. The crystals carried nerve signals. The tissue provided blood and nutrients, everything connected in ways that took his breath away. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Hyeri stood beside him, reading over his shoulder. How do we even start? We stop the bleeding first, Daehyun said. Then we try to save what we can. He put on surgical gloves and moved to Kira's side. Up close, the damage looked worse. The metal beam had crushed the left wing completely. The right wing was broken in 3 places. Crystal pieces lay in the wounds, some still glowing faintly, some already dark and dead. Kira, Daehyun said softly, I need to touch your wings now. It will hurt. Can you be brave for me? The girl nodded. Tears ran down her face, but she stayed quiet. Her grandmother moved closer, took Kira's hand. Daehyun began to work. His hands moved carefully, removing the broken pieces. The crystals felt warm under his fingers. They seemed to pulse with weak light like they were trying to stay alive. Hyeri helped, using human medical tools to close the blood vessels. The Velkari blood was different from human blood, but the basic ideas were the same. Stop the leak. Keep the tissue alive. Hours passed. Daehyun's back hurt. His eyes burned from focusing so hard, but he kept working. He could see patterns now. The way the crystals connected reminded him of circuit boards. The way the tissue wrapped around them was like insulation on wires. Different materials, different purpose, but the same basic concept. He used medical nanites, tiny robots that humans use to repair tissue damage. He programmed them to follow the Velkari patterns. At first they failed. The alien tissue rejected them. But Daehyun adjusted the programming, made the nanites mimic Velkari cell behavior. Slowly they began to work. You're using human technology on her? The High Matron's voice was sharp. I'm using whatever works, Daehyun said without looking up. The nanites are just tools, like a hammer or a saw. It's not about what species made them. It's about using them correctly. More hours passed. The bleeding stopped. The damaged tissue began to stabilize, but the crystals were still dying. Daehyun could see the light fading from them section by section. The medical files said the crystals needed a specific type of energy to survive, but the files did not say what type. Ambassador Kren, Daehyun said, the files say the crystals need resonance energy. What does that mean? Kren looked uncomfortable. It is difficult to explain. It is something every Velkari knows from birth. The crystals respond to our life energy, to the frequency of our being. That doesn't help me, Daehyun said, feeling frustration rise. I need something specific. A frequency. A wavelength. Something I can measure. We do not measure it, the High Matron said coldly. We simply know it. It is beyond human understanding, Daehyun wanted to argue. But Kira made a small sound, pulling his attention back. Her eyes were open, watching him work. Does it hurt? He asked. Less now, she whispered. You're good at this. For a human. Daehyun smiled a little. Thank you. I think. Why are you helping me? Kira asked. My grandmother is right. We think humans are not very smart. We say humans are primitive. Why help people who think that about you? Daehyun thought about that while his hands kept working. Because you're hurt. Because you're scared. Because you're a kid who should not have to suffer. That's enough reason. But we're not even the same species. No, Daehyun agreed. But pain is pain. Fear is fear. Those things are the same everywhere. For everyone. Kira was quiet for a moment. Then she said, I like humans. I think my grandmother is wrong about you. From the corner, the High Matron made a disapproving sound, but she did not say anything. Another hour passed. Daehyun had done everything he could with the tools and knowledge he had. The wings were stabilized. The tissue was healing, but the crystals were still fading. Without the resonance energy, they would die. And without the crystals, the wings would never work again. He sat back, rubbing his tired eyes. He was failing. He could feel it. The promise he made was going to break. Hyeri put a hand on his shoulder. You did everything you could. Not enough, Daehyun said quietly. He looked at Kira. She was watching him with those big golden eyes. Trusting him, believing in him, and then he had an idea. It was strange, maybe crazy, but it was all he had left. Kira, he said. Do your people sing? She looked confused. Yes, why? Do you know any songs? Songs your mother taught you? Traditional songs? I know a lullaby. My mother sang it to me every night. Will you sing it for me, please? Kira looked at her grandmother. The High Matron nodded slowly, curiosity replacing some of the coldness in her face. Kira began to sing. Her voice was small and weak, but it was beautiful. The song had no words, Daehyun understood, but the melody was complex with harmonics that seemed to vibrate in his chest, and the crystals in her wings began to glow brighter. Daehyun grabbed a scanner from Hyeri's equipment. He pointed it at the wings, at Kira's throat, at the air around her. The scanner showed the acoustic patterns. The frequency, the resonance, that's it, he whispered. The crystals respond to sound. 2 specific frequencies. It's not magic. It's physics. He looked at the data. His mind was racing now. The station's energy grid could be modified. He could create speakers that produced those exact frequencies. He could bathe the wings in the right kind of sound energy. It would take hours of work. Hours of calculations, but it was possible. It was actually possible. Ambassador Kren was staring at the scanner display. You found it. You found the resonance frequency. Our own doctors never thought to measure it because we always just knew it instinctively. Even the High Matron looked surprised. How did you know to ask her to sing? Daehyun shrugged, already moving to the computer terminal. I didn't know. I guessed. Humans are good at guessing. We try things that seem crazy. Sometimes they work. He started typing, pulling up the station's power grid schematics. Hyeri, I need you to keep Kira stable. This is going to take all night. Maybe longer, but I think I can save the crystals now. Kira smiled, even though she looked very tired. I knew you could do it. We're not done yet, Daehyun said. But inside, for the first time since this started, he felt hope. Real hope. The impossible task was becoming possible, one step at a time. Taehyun had not slept for 26 hours. His eyes felt like sand. His hands shook from too much coffee and not enough food. But he kept working. The medical bay looked different now. Cables ran everywhere like metal snakes. Speakers hung from the ceiling, pointed at Kira's bed. The main computer hummed loudly, processing the calculations Daehyun had been feeding it all night. Yeri brought him another cup of coffee. You need to rest. Even for an hour. Can't, the resonance field needs to be perfect. If the frequency is even a little bit wrong, it won't work. Might even make things worse, he typed more commands. On the screen, wave patterns danced and shifted. He was trying to recreate the exact sound frequencies from Kira's lullaby, but amplified and sustained. Turn the whole medical bay into a healing chamber. It was insane. It was using equipment in ways it was never meant to be used. But that was what humans did, wasn't it? They made things work even when they shouldn't. Kira was sleeping. The high matron sat beside her granddaughter's bed, holding her hand. The old woman had not left since the surgery started. She looked tired too, though she tried to hide it. It is ready? She asked without looking at Daehyun. Almost. I need to test it first. Make sure the frequency is right. He activated the system at low power. The speakers began to produce sound so deep and low that it was felt more than heard. The air itself seemed to vibrate. The crystals in Kira's wings responded immediately. They pulsed with light, brighter than they had been in hours. But something was wrong. The pattern was not smooth. The light flickered and jumped. Stop, the high matron said. You're hurting her. Daehyun shut it down. Kira was making sounds in her sleep. Her face twisted with discomfort. The frequency is close but not exact. I need to adjust it. He went back to the computer. His hands were shaking worse now. He was so tired. Too tired. He was making mistakes. He could feel it. Let me help. Daehyun looked up. Ambassador Kren had entered the bay. The tall alien looked down at the computer screen, studying the wave patterns. I am not an engineer, Kren said, but I can sing the lullaby. Perhaps hearing it again will help you match the frequency more precisely. Daehyun nodded. Yes, that would help. Thank you. Kren began to sing. His voice was deeper than Kira's, richer, but the melody was the same. The same complex harmonics. The same strange beauty. Daehyun recorded it, analyzed it, compared it to his artificial version. He saw the differences now. Small variations in the overtones. Subtle shifts in the rhythm. He adjusted the program, fine-tuning each parameter. Hours passed. The sun rose outside, though Daehyun barely noticed. He worked in a haze of exhaustion and determination. Commander Minjae came by to check on them. She brought food that nobody ate. Finally, after 31 hours of continuous work, Daehyun thought he had it. The wave patterns on the screen matched Kren's song almost perfectly. I'm going to try again, he said, at very low power, just to test. Everyone in the room held their breath. Daehyun activated the system. The sound filled the bay. It was beautiful, like music and starlight mixed together. The crystals in Kira's wings began to glow. This time the light was steady, smooth, growing stronger. Kira's eyes opened. She looked around, confused. What is that sound? It's your lullaby, Daehyun said. I turned it into energy that your wings can use. How do you feel? Better, much better. The pain is... It's almost gone. She looked at her wings. They were glowing brighter than before. The crystals pulsing with life. They're healing. I can feel them healing. The high matron stood up. She walked to the monitor, studying the data displayed there. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she turned to Daehyun. This is remarkable. You created a healing environment using nothing but sound and human technology. Our own doctors use biological chambers that take weeks to build. You did this in one night. I had help, Daehyun said, looking at Hyeri and Kren. And I had something your doctors didn't have. What? No other choice. When you have better options, you use them. When you don't, you get creative. Humans are good at that. We've had to be. The high matron looked at him for a long time. Something in her cold expression was starting to change. Crack. Like ice beginning to melt. I owe you an apology, she said quietly. I have been unkind, dismissive. I thought humans were primitive. I see now that I was wrong. You weren't completely wrong, Daehyun said with a tired smile. We are primitive in many ways. We don't have your technology. We don't live as long. We can't fly. He looked at Kira. But we try. We always try, even when things seem impossible. Grandmother, Kira said. Daehyun is my friend. You have to be nice to my friend. The High Matron's stern face softened. She actually smiled just a little. Yes, I suppose I do. Daehyun increased the power gradually over the next hours. The resonance field grew stronger. The crystals responded, growing brighter, their internal structures knitting back together. But there was still a problem. A big problem. The left wing, the one that had been completely crushed, was missing a critical piece. The central neural hub. It was the part that coordinated all the wing movements. Without it, the wing would be beautiful but useless. Daehyun studied the medical files again. Growing a new neural hub would take months. Kira didn't have months. She needed something now. He thought about the human prosthetics he had worked with, artificial limbs that connected directly to nerves, neural interfaces that let people control machines with their thoughts. Could that work here? It was a crazy idea, mixing human technology with Velkari biology. No one had ever done that before. There was no telling if it would work, but it was the only idea he had. Daehyun turned to the High Matron and Ambassador Kren. I need to talk to you about the next step. You're not going to like it. He explained his idea, using human neural interface technology as a replacement for the missing hub, creating a hybrid system, part Velkari, part human. The High Matron's face went cold again. Absolutely not. You want to put human machine parts in my granddaughter? Make her into some kind of hybrid? That is unacceptable. The alternative is that she never flies again, Daehyun said. He kept his voice gentle but firm. The neural hub is destroyed. We can't grow a new one in time. This is the only option. Then she will live without flying. Many Velkari have. But they're sad, Kira said quietly. I've seen them. Everyone treats them differently. Like they're broken. I don't want to be broken. You would not be broken, child. You would be different, Kira finished. I would be different. But maybe different isn't bad. Daehyun is different from us, and he saved my life. Maybe being different can be good. The High Matron looked at her granddaughter. The girl's golden eyes were fierce with determination. You want this? The old woman asked. You want to carry human technology inside you for the rest of your life? I want to fly, Kira said simply. I trust Daehyun. He hasn't failed me yet. Ambassador Kren put a hand on the High Matron's shoulder. Perhaps this is meant to be a joining of species, a symbol of cooperation. The High Matron closed her eyes. When she opened them again, they were filled with tears. Very well. But if anything goes wrong, if she suffers, I'll take responsibility, Daehyun said. I promise. He had made another promise. Another impossible task. But looking at Kira's hopeful face, he knew he would try with everything he had. Because that's what humans did. They tried. Daehyun spent the next 12 hours building the neural interface. He took apart 3 different devices from the station's equipment room. A brain scanner, a prosthetic control unit, a quantum processor from a broken computer. He combined them in ways the manufacturers never intended. Rewired circuits, reprogrammed software, made something new from old pieces. This was what he was good at. Taking things that existed and making them into things that shouldn't be possible. He watched him work. Will it actually function? It should. The basic principles are the same. Read nerve signals. Process them. Send commands. Whether it works with Velkari nerves, he shrugged. We'll find out. The device he created was small, about the size of a human thumb. It gleamed with silver and blue, partly machine, partly something that looked almost organic. He had coated it with a biocompatible gel that would help it bond with Kira's tissue. When he showed it to the High Matron, she stared at it for a long time. This crude thing will control my granddaughter's wing? Yes, Daehyun said. If it works, and if it doesn't, then we try something else. But I think it will work. Kira was sitting up in bed now, much stronger than before. The resonance field had done its job. Most of her wing structures were healed. Only the central hub was missing. I'm ready, she said. Let's do it. You should think about this more, the High Matron said. Once this human device is installed, you cannot go back. You will be changed forever. Good, Kira said. I want to be changed. I want to be the first Velkari with human technology. I want to show everyone that different species can work together, make something better together. Ambassador Kren smiled. She is wise beyond her years. The surgery took 6 hours. Daehyun's hands were steady despite his exhaustion. He had done this kind of work before. connecting electronics to nerve tissue, but never with an alien, never with stakes this high. He made a small opening in the wing structure. The inside was beautiful and complex, crystals and nerves and tissue all woven together. He found the place where the neural hub should have been. A dark, empty space in the middle of all that light. Carefully, very carefully, he placed the artificial hub in the space. It fit perfectly. He had measured everything exactly. Now came the hard part. Connecting the device to Kira's nerves. Each nerve had to be attached individually. One mistake could mean pain or paralysis or worse. Yeri helped, her young hands steady and sure. Together they worked through the connections. One by one, the device had 57 contact points. Each one needed to be placed exactly right. The High Matron watched every movement. She had stopped protesting. Now she was just worried. Daehyun could see it in her face. She loved her granddaughter so much. She was trusting him with the most precious thing in her life. He would not fail that trust. He could not. Finally, the last connection was made. The device was in place. Daehyun sealed the wing tissue around it, using the medical nanites to help everything bond together. Now we wait, he said. The device needs time to integrate with her nervous system. It will learn her neural patterns. Adapt to them. How long? The High Matron asked. 6 hours. Maybe 8. Then we'll know if it works. Those hours were the longest of Daehyun's life. He tried to rest but couldn't. He just sat beside Kira's bed watching the monitors. Watching for any sign of rejection, any sign of failure. The High Matron sat on the other side. She held Kira's hand. Sometimes she sang quietly in Velkari, the same lullaby Kira had sung before. It was strange and beautiful and sad. You must think we are very arrogant, she said suddenly. The Velkari, looking down on humans, calling you primitive. Daehyun shrugged. Most advanced species think that about us. We're used to it. But you shouldn't have to be used to it. It is wrong. Cruelty disguised as truth. She looked at him. Why do you stay out here? On this forgotten station? You are clearly brilliant. You could work anywhere, do anything. I like it here, Daehyun said. It's quiet. I can work on problems I find interesting. Help people who need help. Back on Earth, everyone wanted me to work on weapons. Military technology. I didn't want that. So you chose a simple life. I chose a meaningful life. There's a difference. The High Matron was quiet for a while. Then she said, I have misjudged your entire species. We thought primitive meant simple, crude, incapable. But you are none of those things. You are adaptable, creative, compassionate. These are not primitive qualities. They are advanced ones. Before Daehyun could respond, the monitor started beeping. His heart jumped. But it was not an alarm. It was a notification. The neural interface was active. It was connecting, working. Kira's eyes opened. She looked confused for a moment, then focused on Daehyun. Did it work? We're about to find out. Try to move your left wing. Just a little. Don't force it. Kira closed her eyes, concentrating. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the wing twitched. Just slightly. But it moved. The High Matron gasped. Tears ran down her face. It works, Kira whispered. I can feel it. It's different from my other wing, but I can feel it. Control it, she tried again. This time the wing moved more. Spread out slightly. The crystals glowed. But there was something different about them. The human technology added subtle patterns to the light. Made it pulse in ways that pure Velkari wings didn't. It was beautiful. Not the same as before, but beautiful in a new way. How does it feel? Daehyun asked. Strange. Good. More responsive than my right wing, actually. Like I have more control. She moved both wings now, comparing them. The left one is faster. More precise. That makes sense, Yeri said. The human technology processes signals faster than organic tissue. It should give you an advantage. Ambassador Kren was staring at the wings with wonder. This is incredible. You have not just repaired her wing. You have improved it. Not improved, Daehyun said. Made different, changed. Whether that's better or worse, only Kira can decide. Kira looked at her wings. At the way they glowed, one purely Velkari, one mixed with human technology. I think it's beautiful. I'm both things now. Velkari and human, the best of both. The High Matron stood and walked to Daehyun. She did something unexpected. She bowed to him. A deep bow full of respect. Thank you, she said. You have given me back my granddaughter. More than that, you have shown me that I have been wrong. About humans. About cooperation. About what is possible when different species work together instead of apart. Daehyun felt embarrassed. I just did what needed to be done. No, she said. You did what you chose to do. You chose compassion, effort, hope. Those are choices. Important choices. And you made them for a child who was nothing to you? She's not nothing to me, Daehyun said, looking at Kira. She's my patient, my responsibility. My friend, Kira smiled. The biggest, brightest smile. When can I fly? Soon, Daehyun said. Very soon. 3 days after the surgery, Kira stood in the main cargo bay. The huge room had been cleared of equipment. Empty space stretched in front of her, above her, around her. Perfect for flying. Commander Minjae had gathered everyone on the station. All 43 humans stood along the walls, watching. They had heard the story. The alien child. The impossible repair. Now they wanted to see if it really worked. The Velkari were there too. 20 of them, including the High Matron and Ambassador Kren. They stood separate from the humans, their faces showing worry and doubt. They wanted Kira to succeed, but they did not believe she could. Not really. Not with human technology mixed into her beautiful Velkari wings. Daehyun stood closest to Kira. He had barely slept in 3 days, watching her constantly, making sure the neural interface was working correctly. It was. All the tests showed perfect function, but tests were different from actual flight. You don't have to do this today, he said quietly. We can wait longer. Make sure you're ready. Kira shook her head. Her golden eyes were fierce with determination. I'm ready. I've been ready my whole life. I've dreamed of flying since I was small. I won't wait anymore, she spread her wings. The movement was smooth and natural. The right wing, fully healed by the resonance field, glowed with pure Velkari light, soft blue and silver, like captured starlight. The left wing, the one with the human neural interface, looked different. The same basic structure, the same crystals and light, but there were subtle patterns in the glow. Pulses of energy that moved faster than natural. Lines of light that looked almost like circuits. It was alien and human mixed together, something entirely new. Some of the Velkari gasped when they saw it. Daehyun could not tell if they thought it was beautiful or wrong. Maybe both, I'm scared, Kira whispered to Daehyun. What if I can't do it? What if the wing doesn't work right? What if I fall? Then I'll catch you, Daehyun said. He smiled, or at least I'll try. But you won't fall. I know you won't. Your wings are strong. Stronger than before. The High Matron walked forward. She placed a hand on her granddaughter's shoulder. I believe in you. Whatever happens, I am proud of you. You are braver than any adult I know. Kira took a deep breath. She moved to the center of the cargo bay. Everyone went silent, watching, waiting. She began with small movements, testing each wing. The right wing moved exactly as it should. The left wing, the hybrid one, responded even faster, more precisely. She could feel the difference. The human technology gave her finer control than any pure Velkari had. She beat her wings once, hard. The force lifted her off the ground. Just a few inches, but she was flying. Actually flying. The humans cheered. Even some of the Velkari made sounds of amazement. Kira went higher. 5 feet, 10 feet, 20. She was still getting used to the feeling. The balance. The way the left wing was slightly more powerful than the right. Then she began to really fly. Not just hovering. Moving forward, turning, diving, climbing. Her wings beat in perfect rhythm. The light from them filled the cargo bay. Blue and silver mixed with those strange human patterns. It was like watching a new kind of star being born. She performed a barrel roll, a move that usually took months of practice. But her hybrid wing made it easy. The faster response time, the more precise control. She could do things that other young Velkari could not. Ambassador Kren was staring with his mouth open. She flies better than I did at her age. Better than most adults. The human technology, it's not just repairing, it's enhancing. Kira soared up to the ceiling, touched it gently with one hand, then dove down in a spiraling pattern that made everyone gasp. She pulled up at the last second, landing lightly on her feet right where she started. The silence lasted for 3 heartbeats. Then everyone erupted. Humans and Velkari together, cheering and clapping and crying with joy. Kira folded her wings and ran straight to Daehyun. She threw her arms around him, nearly knocking him over. She was laughing and crying at the same time. You did it. You fixed them. They're perfect. Better than perfect. You did it, Daehyun corrected, hugging her back. I just gave you the tools. You had the courage, the High Matron approached. Her cold, hard face was gone. Now she just looked like a grandmother who loved her grandchild. She took Daehyun's hands in hers. I have no words to thank you enough. You have given her back her future. Her dreams. Everything. I'm just glad I could help, Daehyun said. Commander Min-jae walked over, smiling. I think this calls for a celebration. We don't get many happy moments out here. We should enjoy this one. That night, the station's common room was full of people, humans and Velkari together. They shared food, told stories. The Velkari sang their beautiful songs. The humans played music from Earth, different cultures, different species. But in that moment, they were all just people celebrating something wonderful. Kira sat between Daehyun and her grandmother, eating human food for the first time. She made a face at some of it, liked other things. She told everyone about how flying felt, about the joy of moving through air, the freedom. The left wing is different, she explained. I can feel the human technology. It thinks faster than my natural wing. Sometimes I have to slow it down to match. But mostly I love it. It makes me special. One of the older Velkari, a male with elaborate robes, spoke up. Are you not worried about what others will say? You will stand out. Be different from every other Velkari. Good, Kira said firmly. I want to be different. Being the same as everyone else is boring. I'm the first hybrid, the first bridge between species. That's important, Yeri raised her glass. To Kira, the bravest patient I've ever had. Everyone drank to that. Then Ambassador Kren stood up. I want to say something. For years we Velkari have dismissed humans. We thought you were primitive, beneath our attention. But this week has taught me that we were wrong. Very wrong, he gestured to Daehyun. This man saved a child that our own doctors could not help. He used creativity and compassion and skills that we did not even understand we were missing. He showed us that being advanced is not about having the best technology. It's about how you use what you have, how you help others, how you refuse to give up when things seem impossible. The High Matron stood as well. I will bring this message back to our homeworld. The Velkari need to know what happened here. We need to change how we see humanity, how we see all species we thought were beneath us. She looked directly at Daehyun. You asked my granddaughter a question 3 days ago. She asked if you could fix her broken wings. You said yes. You promised. And you kept that promise in a way that exceeded every expectation. I just did what was needed, Daehyun said, feeling embarrassed by all the attention. No, the High Matron said. You did what was right. There is a difference. And that difference changed everything. Later, when the party was winding down, Daehyun stepped outside into the observation corridor. He looked out at the stars. They were beautiful, endless, full of species and civilizations and possibilities. Kira found him there. She stood beside him looking out at the same stars. Thank you, she said quietly, for everything. You already thanked me, Daehyun said with a smile. I'll probably thank you every day for the rest of my life. Is that okay? That's okay. They stood in comfortable silence for a while. Then Kira said, Do you think other people will want hybrid wings like mine? Other Velkari? Maybe. Would that bother you? No, I think it would be good. Show everyone that working together makes us all stronger. That being different is something to celebrate, not fear. Daehyun looked at this brave young alien who had taught him so much in just a few days. About courage, about trust, about how the smallest person can change the biggest things. You're going to change the galaxy, Kira. I can feel it. She smiled. We're going to change it together, humans and Velkari, and maybe everyone else too. She spread her wings one more time. The hybrid wing glowed with its unique pattern, a symbol of what was possible when different species stopped seeing their differences as weaknesses and started seeing them as strengths. And watching her fly through the corridor, so happy and free, Daehyun knew that this was just the beginning. The news spread fast, faster than Daehyun expected, faster than anyone expected. Ambassador Kren sent a report to the Velkari homeworld, a simple report about the accident and the repair. But someone shared it, then someone else shared it. Within 2 days, the story was on every major communication network in the galaxy. A human technician on a forgotten station, an alien child with broken wings, an impossible repair using mixed technology. It was the kind of story that people wanted to hear. That people needed to hear. Commander Minjay's communication console never stopped blinking. Messages came from everywhere. Other stations, planets, ships, everyone wanted to know more. Everyone wanted to meet Dae-hyun. Everyone wanted to see Kira's wings. This is getting out of control, Minjay said, showing Dae-hyun the list of messages. We have 17 different news organizations asking for interviews. 5 medical institutes want you to present your technique. The Galactic Medical Council wants a full report, and there are about 50 job offers from various species. Dae-hyun looked at the list with tired eyes. I don't want any of that. I just want to keep doing my job. Too late. You're famous now, whether you want to be or not. The High Matron stayed on the station for a week. She used that time to speak with Dae-hyun about what happened, about humans, about the galaxy. They sat in the common room one evening drinking tea, human tea that the High Matron had learned to enjoy. I have been thinking, she said, about why your species succeeds where others fail. I believe I understand now. Tell me, Dae-hyun said. Most species, when they become advanced, become specialized. The Velkari perfect flight and biology. The Kresh perfect engineering. The Talim perfect mathematics. We each become experts in our fields. But experts in only our fields, she sipped her tea. Humans are different. You never had time to specialize. Your planet was difficult, dangerous. You had to learn everything just to survive. You had to be flexible, creative, always ready to try something new. So we're good at improvising because we had to be, Dae-hyun said. Yes. And that makes you valuable in ways we never considered. When I could not help Kira, it was because I only knew Velkari medicine. You knew human medicine, engineering, physics, computer science, and more. You combined all of it. That is not primitive. That is advanced in a way we forgot was possible. She set down her cup and looked at him seriously. I want to propose something. A partnership between the Velkari Medical Institute and human engineers. We teach you our biology. You teach us your problem solving. Together we create something neither species could make alone. Dae-hyun was surprised. That's a big proposal. It would require approval from both governments. I am the High Matron. I have influence. And after what you did for Kira, I think many Velkari will listen to me when I say humans deserve respect. Partnership. Friendship. I think that would be good, Dae-hyun said. For both our species. For everyone. The partnership proposal went public 3 days later. The response was massive. Some Velkari opposed it, of course. Old prejudices did not die easily. But many more supported it. They had seen what happened. They wanted to learn from it. Other species started paying attention too. If the proud Velkari were willing to work with humans, maybe they should reconsider their own opinions. Messages came from the Kresh, from the Talim, from dozens of other civilizations, all asking similar questions. Could humans help with their problems? Could this hybrid approach work for other technologies? Hieri could not stop smiling. This is amazing. A week ago, nobody cared about this station. Now we're the center of galactic attention, all because you helped one child. Not just me, Dae-hyun reminded her. You helped too, and Kren, and Kira herself. She was brave enough to try something new. That's what changed things. Kira had become something of a celebrity. Other Velkari children sent her messages asking about her wings. Some of them said they wished they could have hybrid wings too, not because they were injured, but because they looked cool. Because being different was suddenly interesting instead of scary. One afternoon, Kira was practicing flying in the cargo bay. She had gotten even better, performing tricks that made the adults nervous but amazed. Dae-hyun watched from the observation window. Ambassador Kren joined him. She is extraordinary, but then she always was. You just gave her the chance to show it. What happens now? Dae-hyun asked. After you all leave? Now things change. Slowly at first. Then faster. The High Matron will push for the partnership. It will be approved. I am certain of it. Then humans and Velkari will work together, learn from each other, and other species will see that cooperation is better than isolation. He looked at Dae-hyun. You will be asked to lead this new partnership. You know that, yes? I don't want to lead anything. I'm not a leader. I'm a technician. You are whatever you choose to be, but whether you accept the position or not, you have already changed things. You cannot change them back. That night, the Galactic Medical Council made an announcement. They were creating a new committee. The Interspecies Medical Innovation Council. Its purpose was to bring together different species to solve medical problems that no single species could solve alone, and they offered humanity a seat on the council. The first time humans had ever been invited to a major galactic organization, Commander Minjae showed Daehyun the message. Earth is going to accept, obviously. This is huge for us, for all of humanity. Good, Daehyun said. We have a lot to offer. We just needed someone to give us a chance. A child gave you that chance, Minjae said. A child who asked a simple question. Can you fix my broken wings? And I said yes, Daehyun said. Sometimes that's all it takes. Someone asks for help. Someone else says yes. Everything else follows from that. On the last day before the Velkari ship was ready to leave, the High Matron held a formal ceremony. All the humans in Velkari gathered in the cargo bay. She stood in front of everyone and spoke in universal standard so all could understand. We came to this station as refugees, scared and damaged. We thought we would find only basic shelter until we could reach proper help. Instead, we found something much more valuable. We found proof that the galaxy is better when we work together, when we look past our differences and see each other as equals. She gestured to Daehyun. This human showed us what we had forgotten. That advancement is not about how much you know. It is about what you do with what you know. It is about choosing kindness when cruelty would be easier, choosing effort when giving up would be simpler, choosing hope when despair seems logical. She pulled out a small object, a crystal medallion on a silver chain. It glowed with soft blue light. This is the Star of Vashan. It is the highest honor the Velkari can give to a non-Velkari. It has been given only 3 times in our entire history. Now it will be given a 4th time. To Daehyun of Earth for saving my granddaughter, for teaching us humility, for showing us a better path forward. She placed the medallion around his neck. The crystal was warm against his chest. It pulsed with light in rhythm with his heartbeat. Everyone applauded. Humans and Velkari together. The sound filled the cargo bay. Daehyun did not know what to say. He had never wanted recognition. He had only wanted to help. But looking at the faces around him, human and alien alike, he understood that sometimes recognition was not about the person receiving it. It was about what it represented: hope, change, possibility. Thank you, he said simply. I will wear this with pride. And I hope it reminds everyone that we are all capable of more than we think. When we work together, when we believe in each other. Kira flew up to him, landing lightly beside him. She took his hand. You're my hero, she said. My human hero. And I'm going to tell everyone about you forever. Daehyun smiled. You're my hero too. You were brave when I needed you to be brave. That's what made everything possible. As the ceremony ended and people began to leave, Daehyun looked up at the stars through the cargo bay windows. The galaxy was huge, full of species and cultures and possibilities, and somewhere out there things were changing. Slowly, steadily. All because one child asked a question, and one technician answered yes. The small forgotten outpost had become one of the busiest stations in the sector. New sections had been built. More docking bays. More living quarters. More laboratories. The crew had grown from 43 humans to over 200 people from 12 different species. Daehyun walked through the new medical research wing. Scientists worked together at stations, Velkari biologists next to human engineers, creche technicians beside Talim mathematicians, different species sharing knowledge, learning from each other, creating things none of them could create alone. Hyeri had become his partner in managing the research programs. She was better at organizing people than he was, better at explaining complex ideas in simple ways. Together they made a good team. We got another request, Hyeri said, catching up to him in the corridor. A Talim child with a genetic disorder. Their doctors can't fix it. They want to know if we can try. Send me the medical files. I'll look at them tonight. You need to rest sometimes, you know. You work too hard. Daehyun smiled. Says the person who was in the lab at 3 a.m. yesterday. That's different. I was having fun. You look tired. I'm fine, really, he was tired. But it was a good kind of tired. The kind that came from meaningful work. From helping people. From building something important. The partnership between the Velkari Medical Institute and human engineers had been officially approved 3 months ago. They called it the Kira Initiative, named after the child who started everything. The goal was simple but powerful. Combine different species' knowledge to solve medical problems that seemed impossible. It was working. In just 3 months, they had helped 17 patients from various species, problems that no single species doctors could solve. But with mixed teams with hybrid approaches, they found answers. Other initiatives had started too. The creche wanted to work with humans on engineering projects. The Talem wanted to combine their mathematics with human creativity. Everywhere, species that had ignored each other for centuries were suddenly talking, working together, learning. Commander Minjae had been promoted to admiral. She now managed not just the station, but the entire cooperative program. She handled the politics while Daehyun handled the science. Another good partnership. Message for you, Hyeri said, handing him a data pad. From Kira. Daehyun read it, smiling. Kira sent him messages every few days. Updates about her life. Her flying. Her school. She was doing well, very well. Her hybrid wings had made her famous among the Velkari. She had become a symbol. Proof that different was not bad. That mixing cultures and technologies could create something beautiful. This message said she was coming to visit. In 2 days. With her grandmother and a group of young Velkari students who wanted to see the station. Who wanted to meet Daehyun. Who wanted to learn about cooperation between species. She's coming back, Daehyun said. That's wonderful. We should prepare something special. A welcome celebration. 2 days later, Daehyun stood in the main docking bay as the Velkari shuttle arrived. When the door opened, Kira was the first one out. She had grown, not much but noticeably, and her wings were magnificent. They had fully matured, the right wing pure Velkari beauty, the left wing showing those unique hybrid patterns that marked her as special. She ran to Daehyun and hugged him tight. I missed you. I missed you too. Look at you. You're almost grown up now. I'm still a kid. I have 6 more years before I'm an adult, but I'm a kid who can fly better than most adults. She grinned. Want to see? Later, first introduce me to your friends. Behind Kira were 5 young Velkari, students from the most prestigious academy on their homeworld. They looked at Daehyun with wide eyes, curious, respectful, no trace of the old prejudice. This is Daehyun, Kira told them proudly, the human who saved my life, who showed everyone that working together is better than working alone. The students bowed, a sign of deep respect among the Velkari. The High Matron was the last to exit the shuttle. She looked older but happier than before. Less cold, more alive, Daehyun. It is good to see you again. And you, High Matron. Welcome back, please. Call me Thelvara. We are friends now. Titles are not needed between friends. Daehyun showed them around the station. The students asked endless questions. About the equipment. About the research. About how different species work together. Their enthusiasm was infectious. That evening, there was another celebration in the common room. Much bigger than the first one 6 months ago. More people, more species, more joy. Kira performed flying demonstrations that made everyone gasp and cheer. She was even better than before. Her control was perfect. Her movements were art. Later, when things quieted down, Daehyun found himself in the observation corridor again. The same place he had stood 6 months ago. Looking at the same stars, Kira joined him. Just like before. She stood beside him, wings folded peacefully. Thank you, she said. Again. I know I say it a lot, but I mean it every time. You don't have to keep thanking me. Yes, I do. Because what you did changed my life. But not just my life. Everyone's life. Look at this station. Look at all these people working together. That's because of you. That's because of us, Daehyun corrected. You were brave enough to trust me. To accept being different. That's what really changed things. They were quiet for a moment. Then Kira asked the question that had been on her mind. Do you regret staying here? You've been offered so many important positions. Jobs on Earth, jobs on other planets. You could be rich, famous, but you stay on this station, working. Do you ever wish you had chosen differently? Daehyun thought about that. It was true. He had been offered many things. Position on the Galactic Medical Council. Lead researcher for Earth's space program. Professor at the most prestigious universities. He had turned them all down. I don't regret it, he said. Those positions would have been interesting. But here I can actually help people. Directly. I can work with my hands, solve real problems. That's what makes me happy. You're strange, Kira said with a smile. Most people want power and recognition. I'm human. We're all a bit strange. That's our strength, remember? Kira spread her wings. The hybrid wing caught the starlight, creating patterns of light on the walls. Do you remember what I asked you 6 months ago, when I was hurt and scared? Can you fix my broken wings? Daehyun said. I remember. And you said yes, even though you weren't sure you could do it. Even though everyone doubted you, you said yes and tried anyway. That's what I learned from you. That trying is what matters. Even when things seem impossible, you're wise for someone so young. I learned from the best. They watched another ship dock at the station. This one carried medical students from Earth. Young humans coming to learn, coming to be part of this new future where species work together. The galaxy is changing, Kira said, because of what happened here. Because you answered my question. The galaxy is changing because people wanted it to change. I just helped show them it was possible. My grandmother says you're too modest. She says humans are always too modest about their achievements. Daehyun laughed. Maybe. Or maybe we just understand that nothing great is ever done alone. Every achievement is built on other achievements. Every success needs help from others. Kira looked at her wings again. One pure, one hybrid, both beautiful, both strong. I used to think being broken was the worst thing that could happen. Now I know better. Sometimes being broken is just the beginning, the chance to become something new, something better. That's true for wings, Daehyun said, and for species, and for the galaxy. They stood together in comfortable silence. Human and Valkyrie, technician and child. Friends. Looking out at a galaxy that was slowly learning the lesson they had taught. That cooperation was better than competition. That different was not bad. That the strongest wings were sometimes the ones that had been broken and rebuilt with help from unexpected places. What will you do next? Kira asked. After this? After the Kira initiative? Keep helping people. Keep solving problems. Keep showing that humans have something valuable to offer. What about you? I'm going to become a doctor. Like you. Well, not exactly like you. I'll use my wings. But I want to help others the way you helped me. I want to fix broken things. Make them better than before. You'll be a great doctor, Daehyun said. You have the most important quality. What's that? You care. You really care about others. That's more important than knowledge or skill. Those can be learned. Caring comes from inside. Thelvara approached them, her footsteps quiet on the metal floor. There you both are. We should return to the shuttle soon. But first, Daehyun, I wanted to tell you something. What is it? The Valkyrie Council has established a new foundation. It will fund medical research partnerships between species, provide resources for hybrid treatments, support young researchers who want to work across cultural boundaries. We are naming it the Daehyun Foundation. Daehyun was stunned. You don't need to do that. We want to do it. Your name will inspire others. Remind them of what one person can achieve when they choose compassion over prejudice, effort over ease, hope over despair. I don't know what to say. Say you will continue doing what you do, helping others, showing the galaxy that humanity deserves respect. That is enough. After the Valkyrie left, Daehyun returned to the observation corridor one last time. Alone now. Just him and the stars.